Hi, this is a small Clarion application that we wrote to interact with a JavaScript program within the Clarion application. Since we started with this, we've used the same mechanism in our larger applications with great success. This utility still remains a very useful utility, and I will quickly run through the application itself, how it works, and then show the Clarion backend. The Clarion application works in the way that we've got a list of saved scripts, and you can pick any one of those, open it up, and there's the script. This application, or this JavaScript program, is purely just a hello world program. This function called JSMessage is something we wrote just to simplify the whole WScript capability of messaging. So we've just encapsulated in that. All this scriptlet does is to bring up a message, and if necessary it will also bring up a message with an error. If I run the application with F5 or pressing that button, up comes my message, hello world, and there we go. Very simple. We've also added a checking of the script, the syntax checking, capability of opening a file. What this function will do is just import whatever script you've selected, what text file you've selected. The opposite way is to saving your script to a file and then printing it. So it's a very simple program, nothing fancy, but it's really helped us a lot in our workings with JavaScript. We've dealt with a lot of functionality requirements, and the key for me is the capability of starting up ActiveX Objects. Now, this is a list. It's not a complete list, but it's a list of the ActiveXs that we've used over the past. Shell application to interact with the Windows shell. WinHTTP, that's to get access to HTTP post and get. Outlook. There's ADO. There's Excel. There's the file system object, which is very useful to read and write to files. Internet Explorer, and then some specific ActiveXs that we purchased for specific purposes. So you've got the syntax of JavaScript combined with all of these, which gives you a very rich and powerful capability within your application. If we go to the Clarion, this little procedure is the one that you've just seen, and in there's the script or the text box with a variable called sBuffer, and there's my button to execute it. When I press that button, it gets to this procedure or method called executed. When it starts up, it checks whether there's something in the buffer, and then it opens a script window, which is a window that I've declared in the embed above this. There's my script window, and there's the piece of magic that's required. I use an OLE control to create ms script control ActiveX. From there, once the window is opened, I set the language to JScript. By default, you've got VBScript and JScript. Set up some extra parameters. Report exception true for the moment is commented out, which means that any error that's detected will be messaged to the user. Post 401 just to start up smoothly. From there's my JSMessage function that I embed. Now the way that I've done it is we use the add code method of the script control, and you can actually add anything, variables, functions in here that will allow the developer of the script to do useful things. This piece following here has to do with, if I highlight in the front end just a piece of that script, then only that piece will be executed. There's the execute function. So that's when the JavaScript runs. And there I'm checking for errors. The error handling is typically the same way as the JScript errors are provided. We don't add anything more than that. What we do provide is just some comment on what line number this error occurred and the description of the error. In the editor, we've added a line number or line number, which means that we can correlate back. And that's the program. Nothing more to say about it. It's really an easy program, very useful for us. And we've used it in many cases where we had to do a lot of work, and we always come back to JSplay to do something useful and to test it before we actually deploy it to the bigger applications. That's all. Bye-bye.